Did you want to talk any more about the team portfolios and the use of WordPress? The things I'm curious about are things like, did it seem fairly easy for them to do without a lot of prep or outside work? Was it as much work as you anticipated it being, both for you and for the students? And did it seem to be sort of a meaningful semester project?
I think it was a meaningful semester project. It's one that I think I will hone in on more, or home in on more next time. It's easy to do if you have you come and do the workshop.
Right. Okay, good. Well, that's because good to know. That helped. That was worth it. Okay.
Yeah,
good.
There was a number of technical issues and questions that came up during that workshop. The workshop was effective. I didn't have to. There were no follow-up questions afterwards. That hour seemed to be enough for them to get familiar with WordPress, so that they could use it as the final finishing spot for all their writing. Right. The mistake I made in that was that I left the Submit via Canvas option open for that last step. So a number of students submitted directly on that, as well as to their WordPress thing, and a number of GSIs graded on Canvas. And now I realize I need to close that option down.
Interesting, right?
So that everybody in the semester has to go to the WordPress site.
Got it.
The students have to put their material on there. That's the only way they can submit it.
Got it. Okay.
The GSIs have to look at it all because that's the only way they can grade it.
Okay.
And I have to look at it because that's the only way I can see, all right, did this whole thing come together and work? What are some of the highlights?
Okay.
It was a little bit too leaky in the way that I left that alternative function open. So I'm going to be more authoritarian that way around WordPress. But WordPress, I think it was worth the investment of a class time because it also allowed me to kind of overcome one of the stumbling blocks of the course, which was, how do you run a team-based course in a first-year writing requirement course where so much of the writing is going to be individual?
Right.
So by having a team introduction and a team conclusion where they write an individual paragraph and then they share it and they pull it all together into a team introduction on what is the connection between Westworld and their reading, team conclusion, what are our combined takeaway points, and where do they lead us next. That allowed a kind of a team framework to go around the individual chapters of within it
of work,
and then one of the, besides just doing visual literacy, which I think is important in and of itself, one of the ways we tried to lock in the importance of the WordPress portfolio, besides it being public. I mean, they understand just because it's on the web doesn't mean anybody's necessarily going to find their way to it. Was that we had a gallery walkthrough. The last day of class, which was kind of a fun ceremonial thing to do. We used iClicker Cloud to vote the top 2 sites, which were mostly design visual votes. I then also let the GSIs walk through and give a jury prize. And I also, in the background, added a couple extra points to a few teams I thought got overlooked, but it was kind of a fun sharing exercise where everybody was presenting, and one team member would stay back and present and scroll through their WordPress portfolio. Everybody else would circulate and look at what other people had done, and that was a fun way to kind of lock in the value of the WordPress portfolio and the fact that there was a team envelope around the individual writing.
Yeah.
And it sounds like another way to really leverage the space that you were in. Because being able to do something like that, the space certainly facilitated the ability to do that kind of activity as a sort of culminating activity at the end.
Right. There would, I guess in a smaller classroom you could have people with their laptops. It wouldn't be impossible, but it was perfect for that space. And without that space we wouldn't have had near as much fun. Yeah.